My name is Shirley Beck. I'm with the Church Cares Project, and I'm going to be speaking about caring for those who lead, mental health, trauma, and the church. Studies show that people who are involved in spiritual communities have a lower risk of premature death or illness than those not involved. Fellowship, goodwill, and emotional support are all factors. Connection to God and others helps facilitate understanding, acceptance, healing, and a renewed sense of hope. We're going to look at the role of the church. And the role of the church is not just for the pastors or the counselors of the church to minister to people. There's not enough pastors and counselors to minister to all the people that have needs. So one of the things that's so important to think about is to realize that the widespread impact of mental health and trauma, and to understand the potential paths to recovery. So this is important for everyone in the church to understand. So next to realizing, we want to recognize the signs and symptoms of mental illness and trauma in individuals, families, and family systems. And then respond by integrating knowledge about mental health and trauma into policies, procedures, and practices within the church. And last but not least, we want to resist stigmatization and re-traumatization of those who have experienced mental health conditions or trauma inside the walls of the church. So I have a quote here I'm going to read. Recovery is based upon the empowerment of the survivor and the creation of new connections. Recovery can take place only within the context of relationships. It cannot occur in isolation. It's by Judith Herman. So here's a scripture, Matthew 25:35-36. For I was hungry and you gave me something to eat. I was thirsty and you gave me something to drink. I was a stranger and you invited me in. I needed clothes and you clothed me. I was sick and you looked after me. I was in prison and you came to visit me. So as we look at the role of the church, I'm going to look at these 5 areas with you: safety, trustworthiness, peer support, empowerment, and a plan. So let's talk about these 5 areas. So safety is creating an environment where individuals feel physically and emotionally safe. This involves sensitivity to potential triggers and establishing clear boundaries within groups. Trustworthiness is building trust, knowing that building trust is crucial. And how we can build trust is consistency, transparency, and dependability all contribute to the development of trust. And then peer support. So the healing power of community offers a sense of belonging and understanding. And so we're going to encourage open communication, active listening. Mutual support fosters a safe place for families and individuals to share their experiences, which can be very therapeutic. So let's look at empowerment. Empower individuals by acknowledging their strengths, fostering autonomy, involving them in decision-making processes, affirm unique gifts and contributions of that particular individual within their gifting. And then we want to have a plan. Churches need to have a plan in place. So let's look at recognize. The first thing is the level of distress, and we're looking at this in individuals within church, like on a Sunday morning or in a Sunday school class or a small group setting. We're always going to have our attention to how people are doing. So how much distress or discomfort or anguish is the person feeling? How well are they able to tolerate, manage, or cope in the situation that they're in? Then we're going to want to look at their level of functioning. Is the person capable of caring for themselves? Are they able to solve and are they able to make decisions? Is there a possibility of danger? Are they a danger to themselves or others, including thoughts of suicide or risky behavior? And so we want to recognize these symptoms and we want to respond. So as we look at this slide, there's a lot of words on here. It's something to look at on your own. And you can even follow the website that is included in the end of this program. But communication when mental health condition is affecting an individual. And so we have examples of common observations: loss of hope, appears anxious, fearful, panicky, loss of control or has trouble concentrating. And then there's some words on the side here just to look over to study maybe what we're looking for when we need to respond to someone who maybe is not in a good place emotionally. So we've categorized these in green, yellow, and red on how to just kind of analyze how people are doing and how they're coping in a situation. So put together a circle of words here. So I'd like you to look at these words and what are some words that stand out to you or that speak wellness or wholeness or functionality to you. Keep in mind that all of us kind of come out of these, in and out of these zones. We can be relatively healthy people and still be in the yellow, or be mostly in the green and sometimes slip into some of the other zones. So here's the yellow zone. So what are some words that stick out to you as warning signs? Maybe risky behavior. What could that look like? Pornography, maybe 4 glasses of wine instead of 1. Maybe overuse of social media. Maybe hyper obsessing about children's success or failures. Hyper obsessing about appearance. The inability to say no. Involved in everything and then mad at people because you have so much to do. Ignoring your own health. And maybe refuse to take care of ourselves. Over busy. Hypofunctional, which not mean low functioning. Resistance to do hard things. Maybe crippled by fear. Those are just few examples of maybe what it's like to be in the yellow zone. So here's the yellow zone response slide. I want to talk about this active listening. These are all things that are really just important to be able to do as we're helpers to people, as we're maybe assessing how they're doing and how they're functioning. So we want to be an active listener. Individuals feel heard and validated. We can do this without judgment or a solution to the problem. There doesn't always have to be a solution, just empathy and listening. Asking open-ended questions that require more than a yes-no response. Maybe asking a question around how, why, when, what. So here's some red zone don'ts. Even if you've been severely depressed or even suicidal, everyone's situation is different. And so it's very likely that you do not know how that person feels. So I want to be really careful to say, I know how you feel, because we may not know how they feel. And sometimes that can be minimizing to them. We don't want to say, get over it. We don't want to say, be thankful for what you have, and other people have it maybe worse off than you do. When we say things like this, it becomes, again, a minimizing response. Depression or suicidal thoughts are not something like simple to get over, and depression is a complex medical or emotional condition. A person can get over clinical depression. A person cannot get over clinical depression on their own. They really need some extra support, medical support around them. People who are feeling depressed or suicidal often ask for help either verbally or with warning signs. And so we want to take these warning signs very seriously because they could be a cry for help. So we need to take action and based on the words that they say. And even if the depressed or suicidal person asks you not to tell others after confiding in you, please do not keep that a secret. It is better to get them some help than to keep that a secret and they hurt themselves or someone else. We would want to act immediately. So if it's a red zone response, here's just a few things to do if there's a red zone response. Want to call 911 if it's immediate. Encourage them or help them get to an emergency room. Call their spouse or caregiver and have them immediately come maybe up to the church or wherever you're at to make sure that they're with somebody that can take care of them. If they have a counselor, maybe they can call their counselor and meet with them immediately, or call their pastor and have their pastor meet with them and be able to get them some extra. So I included an advocate's prayer that you can read to yourself or read out loud as you process through this material. Thank you so much for listening.